Everyone thinks Travis Kelce fumbled the moment. TikTok says he ducked the biggest questions about Taylor Swift's new album, let the moment slide, and left the fandom starving. But here's where it flips. The receipts tell a Messier story, and by the time we hit the 12-second mark, you'll have dates, clips, and a reason this snub might be a strategy. August 30th, a fresh wave of posts calls him out for dodging specifics. Meanwhile, a podcast poll from days earlier shows something everyone missed. You've seen the edits. The captions read like closing arguments. He won't answer, protecting himself, milking it. Side by side with that, a new Heights segment rolls where Travis grins, deflects once, then admits he's been dancing around the house to a favorite track. It's coy, not cold. It's tease, not silence. And that's the first crack in the viral narrative. Because when the room wants a confession, a tease looks like a crime. Let's rewind to how we got here. Taylor drops the headline inside the Kelce world. 2 hours of candid talk, little jokes, Easter eggs, and a reveal that sent timelines into overdrive. She names the album, hints at the color story, explains the energy behind the music, and breaks a wall no other pop star would risk. She didn't run to a late-night couch. She sat across from the guy the internet insists is her distraction and handed him the steering wheel for a minute. That alone rewired the PR playbook. Then comes the echo. Clips of Travis after the episode, the follow-up pod with his brother, the I keep listening riffs. He lights up. You can hear it. But when the questions get sharp, features, meanings, who the song is about, he plays defense. He smiles, veers, laughs it off, then drops a single breadcrumb, a favorite track title. It's the softest confirmation possible, the kind that says, I'm in the room for this, without burning the rollout. To diehards, that restraint read like a stall. To anyone who's ever guarded a campaign, it looked like discipline. TikTok doesn't do nuance. One creator grabs the no spoilers dodge and stitches it into a verdict. He snubbed the album by not promoting the right way. Another cuts a comment storm to claim he's overshadowing her moment, despite the fact that the album reveal happened on their show, by her choice on her terms. And still, the dragathon keeps rolling. Why? Because mystery is gasoline, and the fandom's built to sprint. The less you say, the more the comment section writes. Here's the needle we're threading. Travis is not a publicist. He's a tight end with a microphone, a brother across the desk, and the most watched musician on earth deciding to drop phase one of an album rollout in his house. He's not going to blow up her track list. He's not going to decode lyrics on camera before she does. So he does what athletes do in a presser when the plan is live. He praises the vibe, hits the big feeling, and dodges the landmines. That sounds like evasion to diehards, but in campaign language, it's exactly the assignment. Now, let's look at the part the Stitchers leave out. He didn't go full Stonewall. He gushed. He described the feel, the lift, the pop, the way it plays at the gym, the way it moves at home. He even named a favorite. That alone nukes the total silence claim. What the backlash actually wants is a leak, names, context, subtext, the muse behind a chorus. But Taylor's whole art is coded timing. If you break the code, you break the art. That's the quiet standard he's trying not to cross. The other charge is ego, that by keeping answers cute, he made it about himself. That only lands if you ignore the larger pattern. This couple's entire public arc is two people tossing the ball back and forth. He shows up at the tour, she shows up at the game. He screams along to Love Story, she learns play calls. He takes one on-stage cameo, she takes a 2-hour podcast seat. The rope is shared. If anything, his coyness is the one play that keeps the spotlight on her, not him. Still, the dragging taps into a real nerve. Some fans are allergic to the idea of album news living on a sports show, even if half the episode is Taylor, and the other half is Taylor, and the third half is Taylor. The brand collision feels wrong to them. They want the mythical white room, the Vogue spread, the surprise Instagram post at 12:13. Instead, we get brother banter, Easter egg props in the background, and a boyfriend trying not to step on mines. To certain corners of the internet, that feels unserious. To the rest of us, it looks like a woman choosing comfort over ceremony. I'm not saying every critique is bad faith. There's a fair read that Travis loves the bit, loves the attention, and loves the way a wink can run the internet for 48 hours. He's a showman. He's funny. He's learned how the Swift machine spins and how to ride it without steering it. That kind of charisma can blur lines, and when the line is "this should be about the album," the blur can irritate people who track every beat like it's a court filing. Annoyance is human, but annoyance isn't evidence. Let's get tactical. If you're guarding an album like this, hype, leaks, high stakes, you don't hand out landmine answers. You sit in love and talk in theme. You name a favorite without saying why. You describe the drumline without naming the drummer. You tease a color without revealing a feature. That's not a snub, that's rollout choreography. And it's the only way to keep the track-by-track think pieces from dropping before the pre-orders even breathe. There's also the other undercurrent the draggers won't say out loud. It's hard to accept that Taylor picked this stage. Not tolerated. Picked. She could have called any network, any late-night show, any magazine on Earth. She went with the home court. That choice recenters her image around a relationship that's domestic, goofy, grounded, and defiantly normal. It threatens the fantasy some fans built around her being above all of that. The snub narrative is a way to reject the stage without admitting what's really bothering them. Mid-video twist, the dodging didn't hide a scandal. It protected a surprise. He actually did give something, a single track title that, if you've been paying attention, tells you exactly how this era frames him. Not villain, not prop, a muse with restraint. You don't leak the meaning when the song itself will turn the meaning into a scream sing in 3 weeks. That's why the fandom still sticks around after every coy grin. They know the avalanche is coming, and they'll get to be first responders. So where does that leave the drag part of our title? With the truth about the modern internet. TikTok loves a courtroom vibe. We hereby find Travis guilty of not answering like a professional publicist. It's meme-able. It's fast. It's simple. It ignores that the person you actually want a lyric explanation from is the person who wrote the lyric. And judging by how this couple works, that explanation won't be a YouTube comment under a clip. It'll be a bridge that turns 2 stadium levels into 1 choir. If you're team, he should have said more. Ask yourself what more would look like. Naming a feature, spoiling a metaphor, confirming the muse behind a second verse. That's candy that feels good for an hour and ruins the dinner. The payoff with this artist is never the leak, it's the reveal. And the reveal is never just information, it's performance, timing, and the way she controls a narrative, sometimes by withholding, sometimes by giving you everything at once. The irony, the drag helped the rollout. Every stitch, every he won't answer, every frame of his grin is a promo clip with unpaid distribution. The argument isn't about whether he loves the album, he clearly does. The argument is about whether the fandom wants foreplay or spoilers. And right now, the metrics say foreplay wins. The comments are loud, but the views are louder. Final beat, Travis aimed to play coy, not cool. TikTok turned coy into a crime. But when you place the receipts in order, the announcement on his show, the follow-up gush, the carefully limited detail, the favorite track breadcrumb, the snub falls apart. What's left is the simplest answer. He didn't dodge the album, he guarded it. And the funniest part, the minute the track list is public, the same feeds will post, he knew the whole time, and call it cute. That's the loop. That's the internet. And that's why this story isn't really about him at all. It's about how we punish restraint, then celebrate it on release day. So verdict time. Was he a villain? If your definition is didn't feed the leak machine, then yes, hang the jersey in the rafters of restraint. But if your definition is hurt the album, the receipts don't support it. He amplified the title, the energy, the excitement, and held the spoilers. He set the table without touching the plate. Hero moves don't always look like confessions. Sometimes, they look like a grin, a redirect, and one little track name that tells you everything you needed to know. In the end, the draggers tried to turn a tease into a betrayal. But the rollout is bigger than a stitch, and the album will answer every question TikTok asked him to spoil. That's the last twist nobody wants to admit. He didn't snub the music. He saved it for the only person who gets to speak for it. And when the chorus finally drops, the critique won't matter. The internet will pivot, the comments will rewrite themselves, and the story will close the way it always does with this couple. He aimed to protect her moment, and in the process, the drag aimed to destroy him, but ultimately destroyed itself.